Hello and welcome back to Waadaplaya Concussion Sub Series, where I am with Suman to review the first ODI between South Africa and India, which was played at Paarl. It was a day game, and South Africa has convincingly beaten India. After batting first, South Africa put in a total of 296, and India fell short by 31 runs. Suman, first of all, how are you, and how disappointed are you with this loss?
I'm doing great, and it's a little weird to look at a 50 over game because we are so used to now Test cricket and T20. The ODI cricket format looks a little alien to us, but lot to talk about. It is obviously a disappointing result for India or South Africa continuing the momentum from Cape Town.
So going back to the start of the day, first of all, as you mentioned, ODI format, we're so used to seeing so much action in the test format. But ODI, every time I look at it, first 10, 15 overs and last 10, 15 overs is what people are interested in. Then in between, no one's going for wickets, no one's going for boundaries and sixes at all. So it feels a bit boring. But batting first, India had the upper hand. I thought getting South Africa down to 68 for three in 17.4 overs. I thought 240 would be the max South Africa will get. But then you have Van der Dussen scoring a brilliant 129 not out, and Bavuma scoring 100 as well. Two centurions in a score of 296. That is phenomenal performance by a relatively young team.
Excellent performance. I mean, Temba Bavuma continues to show the class. There was a lot of slack, including our group. We were talking a lot about how Temba Bavuma became captain in the first place, and then how is he able to sustain the performance, etc. But now that he's relieved of captaincy, or actually he's still the captain, now that he's doing well and even in test matches contributing to the team, he's coming out to be a class player. And Rassie, we had seen him in the T20 World Cup too versus England. That magnificent innings almost won the game, I think, for South Africa. So he's a talent, strike rate of 135. I think both of them nicely set up, and looks like our bowlers got nice little hammering. Everybody is over 6 runs per over. No excuses except for Bumrah. Everybody got tonked.
Van der Dusen, I'm sure he's going to get an IPL contract. Whoever picks him may play him at number three or whatnot. But coming to a bowling, before we come to the chase, I, for the life of me, cannot just understand the selection of Venkatesh Iyer. Not because they selected him, but they did not get him to bowl. What is the point of trying to even groom an all-rounder or picking someone? One is he's out of his place because he's not a opener in this side, so he's batting lower down the order. You have a great opportunity to try him out. In the IPL, he's been regularly bowled 2 or 3 overs here and there. But what's the logic behind him not getting a ball? I just cannot believe it. Whatever is the tactics, I just cannot understand. Dravid, Rahul, whoever's the think tank, and I found a very funny comment in our group chat that it didn't look like there was a new captain, and I completely agree. We've always questioned Virat Kohli's tactics, and this looked to me again a classic example where you had an option, you could have tried something, but you decided not to.
Look, it's unfair to judge KL Rahul, right? This is his first tour as captain. He captained in one test match, which was pretty tough. South Africa were on the money in that too. Selection calls, I wouldn't discredit KL Rahul yet. You're right that switching off from captaincy and KL Rahul taking up Virat Kohli shutting down is not the right way to do. There will be a transition period where you will see mistakes happen, right? And we've also seen that in IPL captaincy, KL Rahul, we have spoken about it. He does not have a great track record, unfortunately. As an individual player, fantastic, but looks like decision making, he still requires a lot of support. So I would not be too harsh on KL Rahul given that it is first tour. But having said that, the team selection definitely was a big factor, which we need to give a hard look at it because likes of Ruturaj Gaikwad sitting down, likes of Surya Kumar Yadav sitting down, and we know how we lost the game today, which is middle order 4, 3, 4, 5, 6 batsmen did not contribute at all. Apart from Dhawan and Virat Kohli, this game was gone. So I think the selection process definitely needs to be looked at, and where we are from 6 months ago to now, Sanjay. If you look at it, we all thought that India had a good problem to deal with, which is like we can field three teams, we can field four teams, etc., etc. But now, spoiled for choices. We don't know what is the combination. There is no template anymore. Everybody's coming and going in, and we are costing games. But I think that's where the problem is. If we can stick to the solid 14 for every single tour ahead of 2023 World Cup, I think that will be the right way to go. But in the process, we are going to lose matches, man.
No, I agree. And one thing which as you mentioned, like fielding players out of their places, basically. KL Rahul, for a long period of time, you're saying, okay, he's my wicketkeeper batsman. He's going to play in the middle order because Rohit and Dhawan are your designated openers. Rituraj Gaikwad sitting outside, understand that you want to give a go to Iyer, but then doesn't make sense if you do not want to bowl him. And if he's playing as a pure batsman, then what is he any better than, say, Nishan Kishan or Surya Kumar Yadav? And then is Rahul going to continue to open? Or
Yeah.
Shikhar Dhawan is going to be dropped. So there's more problems than I can think of. And that all-rounder thing is going to cost us. I was looking at similar games, Sri Lanka and Zimbabwe, 296 or that ballpark. They have had 8 bowling options, 7 bowling options. There is no team in the world now who plays 50 over cricket and will go with 5 bowling options. Even if they do not have, they'll try and do something like that. And then coming to the chase, that's exactly what happens. South Africa is going in with a Markram to open because they know they cannot rely on Pelikuayo to maybe finish off at the end. And the chase, unlike the other chases where we are chasing a high score and the top order fails, this time we've had a decent start, only 1 wicket down, 120 odd runs, 138 in fact, and then we just lose the plot. The middle order is not firing at all.
Yeah, and look, we can't blame bowling in this match, clearly. I understand that Shardul Thakur went for 7 plus in an over. But even if he would have bowled Venkatesh Iyer, he would have squeezed in 5 extra overs and probably would cost about 30, 40 runs. But the total chasing, I think chasing was the concern. If you look at it, we had probably the best white ball cricketer as an opener we have, which is Shikhar Dhawan. Pleasing to see that he's back into form. Second, the chase master Virat Kohli. And I was following cricket while there were a few things which I needed to deal with, and I thought this would be run a ball, and by 47, 48th over we should be done and dusted. But what happens? They both get off, and there is no consistency after from the likes of Shreyas Iyer, Rishabh Pant, Ashwin going above Thakur for. I mean, I'll reserve my comments, but I think the middle overs costed our team the chasing pattern. Otherwise, I wouldn't blame too much of a KL Rahul captaincy or bowling for the loss.
Yeah, and one of the things which I personally think is not a bad thing is if we start losing games, because if you look at the period from 2015 to 2019, we pretty much won every bilateral series there was, because our top three would fire, and every time they would fire, we'll win the game. We always had a middle order problem. That number four, that Ambati Rayudu, Vijay Shankar, all that thing, and then we had Hardik Pandya who would sometimes bowl, sometimes he cannot bowl, and that sort of top order firing prevented any loopholes being coming out of the open. But all the important games we lost because the top order didn't fire. The Champions Trophy final, the World Cup semi-final. So I'd much rather our middle order gets more and more exposed so that we know where the problem is and we try and address it over the next 18 months.
Yeah, absolutely. And credit to South Africa, right? Of course, we are a biased channel towards India naturally, but we should also remember that South Africa are there to win. And I think their performance was fantastic. The two players, like we spoke, Rassie and Bavuma, carried through what Shikhar Dhawan and Kohli should have done, right? They basically did the job of getting to the centuries. And if you look at bowling, whether it is Shamsi or Maharaj, uh, Hansen too, I think they bowled to the line lengths, middle over. They stifled the run rate, scoring rates, some loose shots by Indian. But I think South Africans played extremely good cricket, and we can clearly see the result. And I personally feel that India is starting to take them slightly lightly, probably. This happened in the Test series too, and looks like the first game we probably thought that we have best white ball cricketers, so let's go all guns blazing. And guess what? We are one down in the series.
And I know that this ODI series is not necessarily important. I mean, it's my least favorite format, to be honest. Love test cricket. I love the IPL T20. One day, I struggle to watch a lot of it. There's one interesting comment which I was having a look at ESPN's match review, ESPN Cricket Infos, and Daryl Cullinan said, and I'm sort of paraphrasing it. He said that he was expecting a lot of these Indian teams, especially compared to the one ODI series in 2018, and in general that whole series, he thought that the body language, everything looked very flat. He mentioned whether it's something to do with the change in captaincy or change in coach or whatever it is. He, as a South African, felt that it was very flat, and he was expecting much more competitive cricket from the Indians. He didn't expect South Africa to pretty much. I mean, this game was done. Although Shardul Thakur got a 50, it was done pretty much after 36th over. So, what do you think about that? This coach, captain, and this whole thing happening in the background, whatnot, that's potentially affecting the team.
Test series, I wouldn't question the attitude of the players. I think they gave it all. We had our fair share of injuries. For example, Siraj was injured, which costed us a few wickets. Virat Kohli's intensity did not change, whether his first match or third match. Third match, in fact, the intensity was two times more than what he normally is. And even in this game, he was going after Bavuma about saying that, hey, I'm no longer a captain. I can still sledge you, which is brilliant. Uh, I wouldn't question the intensity of the team, but yes, when you look at a KL Rahul coming into play, of course, benchmark of what Virat Kohli has said and Ravi Shastri have said is quite high. So meeting those expectations, people are going to compare, and naturally so. When Dhoni was captain, everybody was comparing Virat Kohli initially, but now look at it. Nobody speaks about Dhoni. Everybody speaks about Kohli. So give the guy Rahul a little bit of time, and then from a Rahul Dravid perspective, look, that's how he's going to operate. If you're expecting him to be flamboyant like Ravi Shastri, you're not going to get it. He's a practitioner. He's a perfectionist. He runs a tight shop and he'll do things in his own way. So I wouldn't question the approach, but I do feel there's a complacency factor that I would not rule out.
Right. So looking ahead, these games come thick and fast. There's one on Friday, then there's the last one on Sunday. Second game again at Paarl. One thing which people have been commenting, and I completely agree with your point, where people have been saying, "Oh, teams batting second in a day game, it makes it more difficult." But it's only 90 overs, 100 overs at the max. How is that pitch getting any worse than at the start of the day? So I do not buy that argument. You want to reiterate your point, what you've been discussing?
That's a 1990s narrative, right? Where we can blame pitch on a 50 over game. But at this day and age, when 20 over cricket, like I mentioned, in the same day in a T20 game, Glenn Maxwell has gone mental and scored 150 in a 20 over grade, right? And we are sitting here and saying less than 6 runs an over and pitch deteriorated, became slow, so we could not chase and spinners came into play. Absolute BS. It's not going to work, especially with the kind of quality of white ball cricketers we have had. Like Shreyas Iyer is supposed to be the future captain. Like if he can't chase a run a ball, that's questionable. So I think hiding behind a pitch becoming slow in a one-day game is, like I said, it's 1990s. Now we are expected to chase 350, 400 on a one-day game. So I would still feel that teams need to come out of that thought process. Middle overs are crucial, right? Sustaining that singles and doubles mentality will come into play. That's why it's called one-day cricket. As much as it has become probably boring for people, that is what is the white ball cricket. So that's what it was, white ball cricket, right? How do you maneuver the power play of first 10 overs, 15 overs, and then settle down, run a ball, and then accelerate between 40 and 50th over. So somebody like Shikhar Dhawan, if you see somebody like Virat Kohli, they played these formats before. Dhawan grew up with one day cricket. That's why he was so successful. It's a pity that he couldn't score a century, but yeah, we need creators like those who need to play the longer format. Only then we can do. Otherwise, yeah, hiding behind pitch deteriorating or spinners came into play in second innings is an excuse.
No, absolutely. I completely agree to your point comparing it to the 90s because now we are playing with two new balls. In the 90s, you had one new ball. After 30 overs, hardly anyone could see it. Every second over, you would have a ball change or whatnot. It got softer and very difficult to score. Looking ahead, are you expecting any changes from the India team?
I really hope not. It's a three match series. I think we should give the teams run for it unless somebody's performing really badly. Today, look, overall the team had a bad day, barring a couple of people, which is Bumrah, Kohli, and Dhawan. If you take them out, nobody had a decent game. So it'll be harsh to drop anybody. Continue with them. Retain the 11. Yeah, sit down and have a chat that we need to buck up and seize those moments. But I'd not be keen on making any changes to the 11 for the next one day.
Absolutely. It'd be harsh on anyone, whatever they did in this game, to be left out for the second one because I would expect them to get at least good. In fact, all three games, if not anything, just for the fact that they've been picked up for the first one. Predictions for the next game, Suman.
India should win. Like I understand that it is biased, but I think they are not going to take this down easily. This loss is going to hurt, especially at the back of the series loss. So they will come back pretty hard. Hopefully, one or two players, batters especially, go all the way through and make centuries like how the South Africans did. That will be the difference. And use the bowling options a little wisely. Maybe open with Ashwin. I don't know. Figure a way out to mix up the bowling combination a little bit. But India will come back hard.
Absolutely, it'd be interesting. The next match is also at Paarl. I didn't realize there was a mountain behind the stadium. It's beautiful, and it wasn't underlight, so you could see it through the day. So yeah, quite enjoyed it. So hopefully next game would be an interesting one, a much closer one, and India will come up prime so that the Sunday game is an absolute cracker. We'll try and do the review as soon as the game ends, hopefully on Friday. Today we are a bit late, but thank you if you're watching, and do give this video a thumbs up if you haven't done so already. Do subscribe to our channel, and we look forward to having you back. Thank you so much as always, and be safe.
Thanks, Sanjay. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.